Good morning. This is Dr. J. Mekala Devi, Assistant Professor of History, the Standard Fireworks Rajaratnam College for Women, Sivakasi. In this session, we are going to discuss about the British expansion and Paramountcy in India. The objective of this topic is the establishment of Paramountcy in India to assert British political supremacy over Indian states, to secure territorial and strategic control, eliminate rival Indian and European powers, to ensure economic exploitation through revenue and trade, reduce military expenditure by shifting defense responsibilities to Indian rulers, centralize administration under British authority, and ultimately transform India into a stable and profitable colony of the British Empire. The British Paramountcy, the period between 1765 and 1858 marks a crucial phase in Indian history during which the British East India Company expanded its political, military and economic control over the Indian subcontinent, establishing what came to be known as British Paramountcy. The grant of Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa in 1765, the company not only gained the authority to collect revenue but also secured a firm foothold in Indian politics. It paved the way for territorial expansion and administrative consolidation. Then during this period, the British gradually established dominance over the major Indian states through a combination of diplomacy, warfare and strategic alliances, battles such as Plassey, that is it happened in the year 1757, and Buxar in 1764 strengthened the British power. The policies like subsidiary alliances and annexations ensured political supremacy. The British, they also introduced administrative, economic and legal reforms to consolidate their control, often reshaping traditional structures of governance and society. And this era culminated in the full establishment of British Paramountcy, marked by the decline of Indian kingdom's independence, increasing dependence of princely states on British protection, and the growing role of the company as the de facto sovereign authority in India. The period ultimately set the stage for the revolt of 1857. It exposed the tensions arising from colonial expansion and heralded the transition to direct British Crown rule. The British East India Company gradually transformed itself from a trading organization into a political power in India. After the Battle of Buxar in 1764, the company gained Diwani rights in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. The marketing, it marked the beginning of British political expansion. Between 1765 and 1858, the British adopted various policies to consolidate their power and establish paramountcy over Indian states. Meaning of British paramountcy, we should know that. What is the meaning? The British paramountcy refers to the claim of British government to be the supreme authority in India. Under this doctrine, Indian rulers were allowed to govern only under British supervision. The British reserved the right to interfere in the internal and external affairs of Indian states whenever necessary. Then the phases of British expansion. The British expansion in India can be broadly divided into three phases. What are the three phases? The first one is the ring fence policy. The second one, the subsidiary alliance system. The last one, doctrine of lapse, along with annexation by conquest. So that each phase represented a deeper level of British control. The first phase, that is ring fence policy. Ring fence policy. The ring fence policy was introduced during the tenure of Warren Hastings. Under this policy, Indian states surrounding British territories were treated as buffer states to protect British possessions from external threats. What is the nature of the policy here? The policy was defensive in appearance but expansionist in practice. Indian rulers were required to maintain British troops for their protection and bear the cost of military operations. Working of the policy is the British troops were stationed and the cost of maintaining these forces was charged to their rulers. In case of failure to pay, territories were taken over by the British. The impact of this policy weakened Indian states financially and militarily. It increased British military presence and prepared the ground for more aggressive policies of expansion. The second one, subsidiary alliance. First, the meaning of the subsidiary alliance. The system was introduced by Lord Wellesley. It was a diplomatic arrangement under which Indian rulers accepted British troops within their territories and they surrendered control over foreign relations. The Indian rulers, they had to maintain British troops, pay subsidies or cede territory, then they dismiss European officers other than the British and accept a British resident at their court. The states which were under subsidiary alliance were Hyderabad, Mysore, Oudh, Tanjore and several Maratha states were brought under this system. The consequences of this system provided Indian rulers of sovereignty. It led to economic drain, disbandment of native armies and strengthened British political control. The third one is doctrine of lapse and annexations. Doctrine of lapse, what its meaning? The doctrine of lapse, which was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, declared that states without a natural male heir would be annexed by the British as adopted son were not recognized. The states annexed under this doctrine were Satara, Sambalpur, Jhansi, Nagpur. Apart from the doctrine of lapse, the British annexed several territories through wars, including Sindh, Punjab and Mysore. These annexations caused widespread resentment, displaced traditional rulers and became a major factor leading to the revolt of 1857. Through these systematic policies, calculated expansion, the British established complete paramountcy over India. These policies destroyed political independence of Indian states and it laid foundation of the direct British rule. Thank you.